I don't know how else to start this thing off of this behind the scenes Kickstarter breakdown. Besides giving y'all some getting real with everybody. There's so much about out there now about like mental health and about all the ups and downs. And I've answered questions and Q&As about all the different, like, how do you run sessions while you're trying to work and all this other kind of stuff, and life gets stressful and then you're still having right. And I have been going through a lot, and I want to just be real with you guys in a lot of ways here. I was gonna do some big April Fool's prank type situation and be like, oh, there's some big joke about the Kickstarter, but I don't think that's fair to all the backers of the Kickstarter and the actual real message that's behind it. So ultimately, the announcement I was going to make is I am pushing back the Kickstarter 1 year. But not this Kickstarter, not Alkander's Almanac, the next Kickstarter. And there's a bunch of reasons as to why. So if that was a little bit of a gotcha and you're like, oh no, there you go. So, but on a serious and fun note, which might sound a weird combination there, is this: I have learned so much about Kickstarter from doing my first one. It's been crazy. So no, Alkander's is not being postponed. It's not being anything like that. There was times and hiccups and big moments where that has been like weighing on me, but I don't want me learning the Kickstarter to affect you guys. And I know there's been many people in my dungeon company, many of you guys in live streams that have said like, no, like it's mental health first and all that kind of stuff. And I do get it. And trust me, you should put your mental health first. And there's a lot of things you can do you have to take care of yourself. But I think part of this is like an epic challenge to try and pull off that I want to do for you guys. There has been too much support from you guys in many different ways. Even if you didn't back the Kickstarter, even if you aren't a patron, if you are like just recently came to the channel and hasn't been here, like everyone supports in some different way. And you guys are this fire that fuels me to keep going and keep pushing and keep chasing after this thing. And so to give some behind the scenes as to what has been going on in this roller coaster, the biggest first thing that I learned with this Kickstarter is I should have had more of it done before the Kickstarter started. Apparently the culture of Kickstarter is you come to the thing with something already done and then you sell it on Kickstarter, which seems weird to me. I, as a full-time teacher and new dad and husband and all this other kind of stuff, all the different hats that we all wear, right? I didn't have the time to publish and make a book, much less pay for the art and get it and figure out the process. It takes a lot of time, right? So I started the Kickstarter, and I did this entire Kickstarter to try and be able to make it happen. Because if I wouldn't have been able to, I came to Kickstarter to make a book and I already made the book, but now I can, because apparently that's what most people do. But little old me, that's not something I was able to do. So there was a lot of hiccups as far as the early on. There was a green dragon tier that there was only 100 of, and then they got sold out within the first couple minutes because the Kickstarter blew up way more than I thought. The goal was 10,000. So to blow up to what it did, I had no idea. And then I had this behemoth of a Kickstarter to do, which I was super excited for. That's why I said on a fun and serious note, like, this is the most epic thing that I've ever taken on, and I'm going to destroy it. Like, and I have that, like, I want to do that so bad, and I've been chasing and doing that so bad. So I realized that about Kickstarters is I want to come into the next one with a little bit less on the back end to have to do, so that the only thing that I do have to do would be stretch goals and stuff, because apparently that's the norm. So that's what I meant when I said it's being pushed back a year. The second Kickstarter is being pushed back a year, and yes, I will hint at and talk about the second Kickstarter at some point in this live stream a little bit later, once again to the Q&As and stuff, but I am pushing that back a year because I want to, one, finish Alkander's Almanac in all of its glory, just really do its justice and make this book is like, it's like my pride and joy. Like I have a son now to try and think of that whole capacity. So obviously, like, I'm not trying to put it synonymously to that, but there's so much of like my son in this book, my family in this book, which, okay. Okay. Like I started this channel, as some of you already know, the weekend after my wife told me she was pregnant. So the channel is very much like something like that. So then me turning into this book and having this book to write to be able to try and chase after this thing for my family and all this other stuff that we're doing, like, and my wife and how much she has been the rock in all of this of taking on so much at the house so that I can go to work at school and then come here and work, which is, it doesn't feel like work, but it is at the same time. I am away from my family, and there's been a whole bunch that she's taken on from that. And without her doing that, there's not a chance that this book would have stood a chance, or I would have been able to do anything with the channel or other stuff like that. So props to her for all of that she's done. And I don't think people know enough how much she truly has been a game changer for everything to be able to even happen. Some even more behind the scenes, I guess, that since we're getting real here, is in 2 weeks she is leaving for 10 days. She's flying home to Michigan and taking our son with him, and I'm going to be away from both of them for 10 days, and I am just going to write the book, just going to focus on the book. And it's something that's needed. It's something we talked about. It's going to be hard to be away from both of them. I've never been away from my kid for one day, much less 10, but this is the type of stuff that, like, we are doing. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of people that are working real hard. Like, I have a whole team that's busting their butt on a lot of other stuff and juggling a whole bunch of and wearing a bunch of different hats and doing a whole bunch of different stuff. But see, I just, again, I give her props and show y'all a little bit of what's going on to make this thing possible, because I don't want to put up some sort of front like, oh yeah, I just wrote a book. Like, this has been the most challenging thing that I've ever done. To give y'all a final behind the scenes, I wake up and I spend about an hour before I go to school working on answering emails and doing other stuff that I have to do just to keep things going elsewhere, much less Patreon and all these other things I'm doing, or videos, making videos. Isn't that what YouTubers do, right? And then go to school from 7 till 4, and then I get home at 4 and I work from 4 to about 5:30, and then from 5:30 to 7:30 I see my family, and then I work again at night, and I have a little sliver there where I see my wife at night, and we get to have one-on-one time to spend together, and then I work at night till about midnight, and then I go to sleep, repeat again. And I'm sharing all of this with you because I want y'all to see the behind the scenes. I love to be transparent. I'm transparent with my patrons and all the stuff that I do on there. I'm transparent about all the different moves I'm making, and I am not making this as because there's been many other YouTubers that have talked about, like, I'm going to take a break. I'm going to take a break. I haven't taken a single break in 2 years and 3 months, I think it's been, since I started my channel. There's not been one day that's gone by that I haven't done something on YouTube. Is that healthy? Probably not. Probably not. Probably not. But that is the fire that I have to go and chase after and do this. There's been hiccups and bumps in the road, and there's been struggles, and there's been things I've had to go through and push through and work through. And I've used my support system of my wife, obviously, and the dungeon company, the dungeon crew that I have help, and it's taken a lot off of my plate and to be able to help make all this possible. There's so much that goes into this. So this book is going to be epic. It is going to be the largest accomplishment of my life, and it's going to be something that I want to look back on and you guys know what went into this book. Like, when I say blood, sweat, and tears, I literally mean that this is the biggest thing I want to do, and I don't want to do it injustice. I don't want to be like, oh, I'm just going through some stuff, so so I'm just gonna finish up this chapter. No, or I'm gonna push it back. I just can't right now, guys. I appreciate all you do, and I know that you guys would. Like, and that's the crazy part. My supporters are next level. Like, nobody has 25,000 subscribers and then goes and does what we did on the Kickstarter. I've never seen that happen before. No, like, the support that I have for my community is literally next level. So I know that you guys would be like, you know what, Dungeon Coach, do your thing, man. Like take care of yourself. The book will come. And, like, I know you guys would say that, but that almost makes me want to do this more because you guys are so awesome. And in a lot of ways, at the times whenever when things were the hardest and I didn't want to, like, I mean, I don't like to, these conversations, even right now, these aren't something that I like look forward to having, but I want to be real with you guys. So the times when things were the most rough, I had a live stream, and there was a moment where I was like, I just can't, I don't think I can do the live stream tonight. I'm just not in a good place. Like, I forgot to make the post to say that it was, so I'd have to go. And like, I was literally playing with my kid, and I was going to come, I was like, I don't want to like leave him again to then come in here to make a post to announce that the kid, that when the live stream goes out. And I was like, I'm just not going to do it tonight. And then I was like, no, like this is something I want to do. This does, I want to do it. I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. And then I come to do the live stream, and it's one of the biggest, most epic live streams. And there was insane amount of donations and support and love that I felt from you guys. And like those moments helped me. And the comments that I see on random YouTube videos that I have on my phone that pop up every once in a while that just says like, oh, sweet, I'm going to use this. Like those little comments, the little comments that I've gotten from my patrons, the different stuff from the people in my community over the holidays. Like there's been so much stuff that lifts me up, and this community has also lifted me up. My wife is my rock in this, but like this community at any level of wherever you're at in the community, if you just watch videos and you love what I do and you just watch the videos, maybe even click the like button. That counts, because like this community has lifted me up to give me the fuel and fire to go and do this thing. So that is the big update for Alkander's Almanac. It is coming, baby. I am putting in work every single day for it. I have been commissioning my butt off as far as art goes. There are currently 50 plus or 40 plus pieces of art currently being worked on right now as we speak. Already 30 plus that have already been made. There's so much that I'm putting in this book. I don't want this to just be like, here's a bunch of rules. Like I want there to be like, I write a chapter and then I go through the chapter and I think of what cool art could go in for it, for the different stories I'm telling. I'm telling stories from my campaign, like my literal campaigns that I've had. My first homebrew campaign of 3 years, there's stories in there. There's the big final, I just got chills. There's a campaign ending fight of the 4 of them going against the epic lich to end it all. There's a big thing of art that I have going for that. There's a big piece of art for my dungeon company team, with each of my people that are in the dungeon company each have a character and they're fighting a big YouTube dragon. That's a big piece of art that's going in the book. There's so much personal stuff. Even Alkander himself is the living embodiment of essentially me. So this book is going to be the absolute best thing I can possibly make it. So buckle up, get ready. And if you want to see the full Q&A of everything, there'll be a link down in the description that you can watch the Q&A, because this video I'm going to put, this section of the video I'm going to put on YouTube, but everything I'm about to get into for answering all these questions and talking about some more behind the scenes will be a link down in the description. Stay creative. Oh, I think I said the box. Peace.